I've been in situations where I've worked for engineers who have a ton of experience, had no interest in helping me though. Really didn't.
You're not
Um,
going to get anything from them, at
yeah,
all.
and they kind of like to gatekeep a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
We don't
I
gatekeep,
had
dude.
I had dude, I had to this was actually the thing that got me Good Morning America. I had to say, screw you to
Yeah.
this one engineer I was working for because he just didn't think I deserved the credit that I actually did on that gig.
Yeah.
I was working a Newport Folk Festival. Lots of people on that show. That we had Roger Waters, Regina Spektor. Oh my God, it
Mhm.
was like a big, big show. And that show, I pulled my weight way more than I was hired for.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't a good outcome at the end. Because at that time I was already earning my own money doing what I was doing, and I decided that I was going to put that aside and work for this person because I felt that what I might learn from the experience was going to make me a better engineer. And it definitely made me a better engineer, but it wasn't worth the cost of my self-esteem. And that's why I had to walk away from that.
Well,
And
that
I
that brings me
learned,
to another quote though, by John C. Maxwell, in talking about this person you work with. And I'm paraphrasing here from John C. Maxwell. He's a Christian author, but he said, "Great leaders develop other great leaders."
yep,
And when you're trying to, be the lead person, but then you're kind of gatekeeping, well, you're not developing other people. So that you're a poor leader in that case, because again, great leaders, and I live by this, man, they develop other great leaders.
yep,
The knowledge you and I have, we share it here on Metal Mastermind. We share it in our courses, and we'll continue to do that as we learn things, guys. Everybody listening right now, as we learn things, we will share them with you. We're not going to hold it to ourselves, because we want to help you develop in whatever skill you're trying to raise, whether it be music production or guitar playing. And that's why I don't do this by myself. It's why Ken doesn't do this by myself. It's also why we have other great people in Metal Mastermind, so that we can give you that, right? We can give you that quality content. So yeah, that's another quote that stuck with me over the years is, anytime I'm in a leadership position, and I was in one at my corporate job before I left, I really, really strive to develop the people that were reporting to me. I wanted them to rise up. A lot of people
yep.
were afraid. This guy was probably afraid you'd do a better job, and then he'd be out of a job. But that's, if you're truly great at what you do, that's not going to happen. You know,
You know,
and and
and whether or not people believe that or not, it's not right to impress on others what you think their worth is.
right,
You
that's exactly right.
you have to understand that your worth means a whole lot more than what somebody else says it is.
Yeah,
You have to that's a part of growing up in a way, honestly, man. You have the reason why you got people in this world that don't give a crap or some they might actually do give a crap, but what they don't allow other people to do is dictate what their worth is. And it
yeah,
may seem like they don't give a crap, but they really do. And it's about what really matters to them. So that comes with time. And if you feel right now, maybe you're a young person or even somebody who's just trying to learn a new skill and you're older and you're thinking, okay, how can I get better at this to a point where I feel confident that other people are going to believe what I'm putting out as good content?
yeah, sure.
That's a tricky thing to overcome. And all I can say is just keep doing it. And in the beginning, yeah, embrace the suck.
You
You'll
have
get
to.
better. You'll
Yeah,
get better.
it'll get better over time. Most people don't, they don't win their first or even 10th time. Even our business at Metal Mastermind, we've had uncertainties, we've had challenges, we've had times where it just didn't seem like it was going anywhere. And if you keep at something, I'm a believer that you sort of force the universe to work in your favor to a certain degree, right? Because you're pushing, and you've decided that you're not giving up. You also have to be willing to take some advice. You've got the parts that are sacred to you. It's like, okay, I know this part is not going to change. I'm sticking to my guns, but then be willing to take advice from other people that have more experience, that, like you said, Ken, that are genuinely interested in you and that have good intentions. Like, you don't want to just ask any smojo, like, hey, give me some advice here, especially if they haven't been down that road. I had someone try to give me mixing advice on my Masterpiece album, and they were telling me all the things I did wrong that sucked or whatever. And I'm thinking, I looked the person's name up. I'm like, okay, well, you're not a known producer or anything like that, so why would I take this advice? You know what I mean? So you got to be careful, I think, who you listen to. Make sure those people have the expertise, right? Or at least have been in there and are in the game doing it, and that have good intentions towards you as well.
That's why we call them mentors.
That's why we call them mentors. Yeah, we've had some really good ones. I've had a lot of, we could talk about this for days, but I know we need to wrap up. But I've had some really great mentors, and I wouldn't be where I am, Ken, you wouldn't be where you are without those mentors. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, as much as he accomplished, he's like, I'm not a self-made man. If it weren't for Joe Weider having him come from Austria to America, and helping him in the bodybuilding game, he wouldn't be where he is today, right? And whether you love him or not, doesn't matter. He made a really great life for himself in bodybuilding, and then went on to movies. He also invested. So, but he admits, I'm not a self-made man. I took, the opportunity and ran with it, and that's what you need to do. But hey, it's okay to reach out to people for help as well, right? So just want to kind of throw that bug in there. And again, that's why Ken and I are here. Whatever we can help you guys with, we're here. Okay.
Yeah. And in addition to our courses, you guys should also be aware that we also do provide coaching services out there for you guys now. It's a new service that we put out on Mental Mastermind. Right now, we've got 2 coaches from our instructors, Nick Z and Elizabeth Deus. Nick Z is coaching on your mixing skills. So if you need somebody to really take a personal approach to how you're developing beyond what our courses can provide you, take a look into those. I think it's valuable information that can be personalized to you specifically. And, especially if you're like a vocalist, a vocal coach is really important to have.
Elizabeth is great at that
in your
too,
back pocket. Yeah. Elizabeth, she knows a lot about vocals, and she can really help you get where you need to go. So take a look into those things we have at metalmastermind.com /coaching, if that's what you're interested in, or take a look at metalmastermind.com /courses to check out our existing courses that are, relatable to some of those coaching things. As you'll see, you'll find Metal Vocal Virtuoso as Elizabeth's course, and Metal Producer Overlord Mixing Series as Nick Z's course.
Thank you for listening to that short clip of our latest podcast on Metal Mastermind. Be sure to listen to the entire podcast on metalmastermind.com. You can just click on podcast there, or go to Spotify or Google Play. There are links in the description of this video. I want to say thank you so much for supporting and being a part of Metal Mastermind. And hey, drop us a comment if you have some things that you would like for us to cover in future podcasts. We'll see you on the next show. And remember, create your own sound and style.